You have probably had this happen. You mention something once, not search it, not type it, just say it out loud. Maybe hiking boots, maybe dog food, maybe a weird lamp shaped like a mushroom, because apparently adulthood is mostly discovering that your taste in home decor has no adult supervision. Then a few hours later, your phone shows you an ad for the exact thing. And your brain does the only reasonable thing. It points at the phone and says, "You little spy rectangle." This is one of the most popular modern conspiracies. Your phone is secretly listening to you. Your apps are sitting in your pocket like tiny undercover agents waiting for you to say vacuum cleaner so they can summon an ad before you even finish the sentence. The creepy part is, it feels true. Not once, not twice. Often enough that people tell the story like a ghost encounter. I swear I only talked about it. So here is the uncomfortable question. What if your phone does not need to listen to your conversations? What if the real trick is worse? What if it already knows enough to guess what you are about to want? The microphone theory is tempting because it is simple. You talk about shoes. An ad for shoes appears. Case closed. The phone heard you. But simple explanations are not always the creepiest ones. The less dramatic explanation is that your phone is surrounded by clues. Where you go, what you search, what you pause on, who you spend time near, what you buy, what your friends search for, what time you wake up, what kind of videos make you stop scrolling like a tired person in front of a porch light. The point is, your phone may not need your words. It has your patterns. And patterns can be louder than speech. Think about how much you reveal without meaning to. You visit a baby store. You do not buy anything. You just walk in with a friend. But your location puts you there. You spend 20 minutes near someone who has been searching for strollers. You later open a shopping app and pause on a soft blanket. You skip 3 normal ads but slow down on one nursery video because the tiny room looks weirdly peaceful. None of this is a confession. It is not one big proof. It is a pile of little hints. And modern advertising loves little hints. It does not need to know your private thoughts the way a mind reader would. It only needs to place you in a group. People like you. In places like this. At times like this. With friends like these. Usually click things like that. That is not magic. That is statistics wearing a trench coat. The strangest part is that prediction can feel like surveillance even when nobody heard the sentence. Imagine you and a friend talk about camping. Then you get an ad for tents. Maybe your phone listened. Or maybe your friend searched camping gear last night. Maybe you both visited the same outdoor store. Maybe the weather changed in your city. Maybe your age, income, neighborhood, and recent behavior put you into a group that is suddenly being targeted for summer trips. Maybe thousands of people like you started buying tents this week. The ad system does not need to know that you personally said tent. It only needs to know that you are becoming tent-shaped, which is a terrible phrase, but a very useful business model. This is why targeted ads feel psychic. They do not have to be right all the time. They only have to be right at the memorable time. You ignore 100 ads that are wrong, shoes you hate, courses you will never take, a chair that looks like it was designed by someone who has heard of backs but never met one. You forget those instantly. But when one ad matches a private conversation, your brain puts a red circle around it. It says, important, creepy, evidence. This is called a kind of confirmation bias. We remember the hits. We forget the misses. The ad system throws darts all day. You only notice the one that lands in your sandwich. There is another trick, timing. Sometimes the ad appears after the conversation, but sometimes the ad system was already aiming at you before you spoke. You had already been nudged. You had already seen something. You had already walked past a store. You had already watched a video that planted the idea. Then you bring it up in conversation. Later, an ad appears, and it feels like the phone reacted to your words. But maybe your words in the ad came from the same hidden source. A trend, a season, a recommendation system, a friend, or a product quietly entering your world from several doors at once. The phone did not read your mind. It helped shape what your mind was about to notice. That is a much weirder sentence. Now, does that mean microphones are never used badly? No. Apps can request microphone access. Some apps genuinely need it. Calls, voice notes, video recording, language tools, music recognition. And yes, privacy abuses exist. Companies have been caught collecting data they should not collect. Permissions matter. Settings matter. But the big creepy feeling around ads does not require a live microphone conspiracy. It can come from something more ordinary and more scalable. Your behavior is data. Your location is data. Your social graph is data. Your pauses are data. Your boredom is data. Even the things you almost buy are data. Not because a villain is listening through your pocket, because the business model of the internet is to turn little behaviors into guesses. This is where the story gets uncomfortable. If your phone were simply listening, the solution would be simple. Turn off the microphone. Delete one bad app. Put the phone in a drawer and feel powerful for 6 minutes. But if the real system is prediction, the problem is spread everywhere. Apps, websites, stores, payment systems, location data, data brokers, social networks, your friends' behavior, the ads you do not click, the posts you watch for half a second too long. This is not one spy in the room. It is a room made of tiny spies. And most of them are just doing math. And because these guesses are statistical, they can become strangely intimate. They might infer that you are moving, that you are lonely, that you are sick, that you are about to start a new job, that you are newly single, that you are anxious at night, not with perfect accuracy, not like a wizard, more like a nosy cashier who has seen a million receipts and starts noticing patterns. The system does not need to know your soul. It only needs to know what people usually do next. Sometimes that is enough to feel like mind reading. There is also a social layer. Your phone is not only watching you, it is connected to other people. If your roommate searches for air fryers, you may see kitchen ads. If your partner looks at flights, travel ads may find you. If your friend group starts liking a certain brand, you may be pulled into the same advertising neighborhood. This is why the phone can feel like it heard a dinner conversation. Maybe it did not hear the dinner. Maybe it saw the table. Who was there? Where you were? What those people were already interested in? What people like that table usually do next? The ad does not come from your sentence. It comes from the invisible shape of the group. This is the part that makes the conspiracy less fun and more useful. The scary question is not, is my phone listening? The scary question is, why does listening feel unnecessary? Because if a system can predict you without hearing you, then privacy is not just about secrets. It is about patterns. You can hide a sentence, but it is much harder to hide a routine. You can keep a thought private, but your clicks, walks, pauses, friendships, purchases, and sleep schedule can still cast a shadow of that thought. The shadow is blurry, but sometimes blurry is enough to sell you shoes, or politics, or fear. So what can you actually do? You do not have to throw your phone into the ocean. The ocean has enough problems. You can check app permissions. Turn off microphone access for apps that do not need it. Limit location tracking. Use privacy settings. Clear ad interest when platforms allow it. Be careful with quizzes, random apps, and websites that ask for more than they need. And most importantly, stop treating creepy accuracy as proof of one single trick. Sometimes the phone did hear you. Sometimes you searched something and forgot. Sometimes a friend pulled you into a targeting group. Sometimes the ad was already there and you only noticed it after the conversation. And sometimes the prediction machine simply guessed correctly. That last one may be the most unsettling. Maybe your phone is not reading your mind. Maybe it is reading your life. Not the dramatic parts, the boring parts, the places you go, the seconds you pause, the people you stand near, the patterns you repeat without noticing. And maybe that is why it feels so personal. Because our boring patterns are not separate from us. They are us, moving through the world while barely paying attention. That is what the machine sees, not your soul, your trail. And if the trail is detailed enough, sometimes it can guess the next step before you say it out loud. So the next time an ad appears for something you only talked about, you can still glare at your phone. That is healthy. Keep the relationship honest. But the deeper mystery might not be the microphone. It might be the prediction. The fact that a machine can know so much from what you never meant to reveal. And that raises a better question then. Is my phone listening? How much of you can be predicted before you ever speak? If this made you check your microphone settings. Honestly, fair. Subscribe to Odd Single Lab for strange questions with a little less panic and a little more explanation. And tell me in the comments, what is the creepiest ad you ever got that felt like your phone read your mind?